Hello guys, welcome back to Beyond the Realms and the Hitchcock Takeover here on my channel. Today I'm going to be reviewing one of his most revered films and most known films. This is from 1963 and it is The Birds, starring Tippi Hedren in her very first role. Now, I probably don't need to say a whole lot about The Birds. It's pretty obvious. It's about birds that attack people. I don't know what more you could say than that. But I have to quickly talk about the beginning of this film, the first hour of this film. I hadn't seen this movie since I was a kid. And like I mentioned earlier in a video when I first talked about doing the Hitchcock Takeover, the only thing I remember of this movie is the second half when the birds attack the people. Because, when you're a kid, that's what you want to see. I couldn't appreciate everything else in the film. And after watching it again, basically being the first time seeing it, really, the first half of this film is just so strange. Tippi Hedren plays the role of Melanie Daniels, and she's in this pet store, and she's trying to get this bird she really wants. And in walks this guy named Mitch Brenner. He's looking for two lovebirds. They're not there. So, and just quickly, what happens is, Melanie ends up. She doesn't know who Mitch is. He leaves, and Melanie ends up buying the lovebirds, finding out where Mitch is, going to the place, taking a boat over to his house, giving the lovebirds to him, leaving. Mitch chases her down. They end up hanging out. It's just very unbelievable. It's unrealistic totally how things go. I don't understand why Melanie would go to those lengths for a complete stranger that she only talked to for like a minute. But that's what sets up the whole movie, because that gets her over to the Bodega Bay, California, from San Francisco, and that's where the whole film takes place. So that's what moves the plot along, but I just don't get I don't get it. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. But it works somehow, because the second half of the film, once you reach about the 50-minute mark, is where the birds start to attack, and there's several bird attacks that happen throughout the film leading up to the end of it. But guys, The Birds is no doubt a classic, and I say that solely for the second half of the film. It's strange because that you can see a lot of other films in this. This predates Night of the Living Dead by 5 years, and this film actually has them boarding themselves up in a house, the birds trying to break through and actually starting to break through the doors and the windows. So that the whole premise of Night of the Living Dead is right here in The Birds. And also, something else that I noticed while watching this, excuse me, is it also has basically the whole story of The Mist in this. There is a part where they are trapped in a grocery store. You have that's one element. The creatures are outside trying to attack the birds. That's a second element. And the third element is you also have a religious fanatic in the store that is blaming Tippi Hedren, saying that she's evil. This didn't happen to you. You came to this town. You brought this upon this town. And you also have a guy in there that's claiming it's the end of the world. He keeps saying it over and over and over. So you have your whole premise for The Mist right in this movie also. So, you can't really understate the effects that this film has had on cinema, and Hitchcock, at this time he was coming off a couple years off of Psycho. I think he was looking for another film that could be shocking, that was in the horror realm. And also, this was at the tail end of the 50s boom of alien and big monster movies too. So this is basically Hitchcock's monster movie. He's basically taking making a monster movie, but what he's doing is he's taking an element that is in everyday life that you see no matter where you go. Outside, you see birds everywhere. He's taking something as innocent and as, you can just ignore it, just walking outside, because it's just there all the time. He's taking something so innocent and making it into something terrific, and also doing it in his way of putting it into a dramatic situation. It's not like, Hitchcock's just going and making a big, huge, giant octopus monster movie. He's making a monster movie his way, and I think that's why it works so well. Now, a lot of the composite shots with the birds and stuff, that's really the only thing that's truly dated about this film. Some of the the shots of the birds flying around everywhere, it's compositely done, picture on a picture. It just looks very dated. Even, Blu-ray with it cleaned up and everything, it looks dated. But, then again, some of the shots up close of the birds attacking up close, they look very real, and it still looks very good. I like to know how they did that, because some of the birds that get really close and are pecking on the face or pecking on Mitch's hand as he's trying to keep him out of the windows of the house, they look real. I mean, were they real somehow? I don't know. I don't know the true story and whole, thing behind that. But, The Birds is a great film. I totally understand why it's a classic. And its inspiration and influence on films is still felt to this day. It's excellent, mainly for the second half, it's so awesome, and it's eerie. It just has some eerie elements, like when all the birds land at the school and they're all on the playground. That's just an eerie scene, especially when Tippi Hedren's outside. She's standing there looking. One crow lands. She looks down. She's doing some stuff. She looks up again, and it's just filled with birds. That is just a creepy scene, and it's awesome, and it's still effective to this day. So yeah, guys, The Birds, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I think if the first half of the film was a little bit more believable, it would be a complete, perfect masterpiece, 10 out of 10. But still, 8 out of 10, guys. If you've never seen The Birds, you have to see it, because it predates a lot of these films that people look at as the standard setters. And this one, I think, in many ways, is the true standard setter for a lot of those things. So yeah, guys. It's in this box set. Again, you can find this one very easily everywhere. It's readily available, not hard to find whatsoever. So yeah, guys, I appreciate you all watching. I hope you're doing well. Take care.